zobie. Aja. Hey, mosquito, effort. Not the cause of malaria, deadly fever. We going now. We gon' fight. We gon' fight it. We gon' fight it. We gotta fight. We gotta fight malaria.
Ondo State was beneficiary of the first round of the National Universal Insecticide Treated Net Distribution, supported by Malaria Consortium under SUMUP in 2012, and the last campaign was in 2017. Again, Malaria Consortium is set to implement Insecticide Treated Net Distribution campaign in collaboration with the National Malaria Elimination Program.
It's been a wonderful time in Ondo, looking at where we're coming from the state entry meeting which we had earlier in the year to the micro plan activities. Then also when we came on board in November, we had quite a lot of engagement with the states. Advocacies happened to the security units, keys and other key stakeholders within the state. We also had trainings, capacity building across board. We were able to train over 6,000 personnel that are currently engaged for this campaign. Thereafter, at the state level, we trained the LGA teams, and then these people also cascaded the training down to other personnel at the lower level. And it's been a wonderful time from also receiving nets. We are looking at distributing 3.3 million nets across the 18 LGAs and 203 wards in Ondo State. The nets are on ground. They've been moved across the LGAs. Also, they are currently also being moved. The micro positioning going on alongside the ITN distribution. And we hope that following this, we will do an end process evaluation to see the impact of the campaign, and then this and all of our activities will be compiled and shared with the state.
At the official flag-off, the state government, partners and other stakeholders mobilized support for the insecticide treated net distribution campaign.
It is indeed a pleasure to be part of this occasion of the flag-off of the distribution of insecticide treated nets, ITNs in Ondo State. I understand that Ondo State is one of the states that are benefiting from this laudable program aimed at safeguarding the lives of our dear citizens from the dreaded malaria disease. This initiative, no doubt, bears eloquent testimony to the collective efforts of the federal government, the Ondo State government, and indeed the entire rollback malaria partners towards stemming the scourge of malaria in Ondo State in particular, and Nigeria in general. I am pleased to inform you that Ondo State is determined to accelerate and intensify the efforts in line with the federal government agenda towards the achievement of the current malaria elimination program in the country.
As a state, we understand our shares in this national public health burden and also the strategies for malaria prevention, which include sleeping inside insecticide-treated nets. Not just that, we have to maintain good personal and environmental hygiene and quick healthcare assessment.
we should not forget that malaria remains a public health problem in Nigeria and a major barrier to significant economic development. We shall continue to collaborate with our partners and of course with the state government and other state governments to ensure that we win the battle against the malaria scourge. Use of ITMs is considered one of the most cost-effective strategies in the control of malaria. And that is why we are doing this flag off. But let me say also that the use of ITMs must be consistent and it must be used correctly. So, that is the reason why the federal government has adopted the use of ITM as one of the key pillars in the prevention and elimination of malaria. And therefore, the conduct of mass distribution campaigns on a rolling basis. We've also adopted electronic technology for better and more efficient ITM mass campaign processes since 2017. By this process, the program data can now be viewed real-time and decision-making in health interventions are quicker and much more accurate. Ondo State is one of those states where mass placement campaigns are being carried out in 2021 and on a national basis are delivering over 19.5 million nets to Nigerians. And we expect to cover with this around 40 million persons so that they are protected from the malaria vector.
It's a war against malaria. Malaria, malaria. I want Jesus, oh, Kale Jagua Jai. Set Ragi, set me, oh, Kaji Josago malaria.
Specifically, sir, you just permit me to also tell you more about Malaria Consortium. The organization is a UK-based organization that is committed to reduction of maternal and child health diseases, especially in Africa and Asia. And we use malaria as the entry point into doing this. And since we've been working in Nigeria since 2008, we have the privilege of working in sometimes 22 states of this country. But this is the first time that we are coming to Ondo State. And permit me to add that in 1995, I'm standing in front of you as a civil servant that was recruited one time by Ondo State government. But now I work for Malaria Consortium and I'm very pleased to come back home. The reason why we have come this time is that the National Malaria Elimination Program have developed a cycle of distributing LLI campaign every 3 years in every state. And we noticed that the last campaign in Ondo State was in 2017. And we are working with NMEP to see how to fill this gap. So we approached all our donors, and one of our donors, called GiveWell, graciously approved that we should cover the gap in Ondo and Anambra State. And also, Ondo State government was ready first, and that is why we are starting with Ondo State government. It is not enough to have the net with you. I think I'd like to appeal to every household that please, when you receive the net, please hang them. Even with you sleeping under the net, we might have cases of when people have malaria. Please make sure you diagnose malaria, any case of fever, and make sure they are treated promptly. But as you know, there are other, government cannot do it alone. So I also want to call on not all partners that we've mentioned already, but also private sector, so that they can bring in funds to make malaria intervention sustainable. Please, we don't want malaria to be sustainable because we want to eliminate it, but we want the funding to make it to be eliminated faster, to be sustainable.
We are here to flag off the distribution of ITNs to the good people of Ondo State. But just like had been said before, the last time Ondo State had net campaign like this was in 2017. It might interest you to know that they are behind, the state is behind in terms of the timeline for distribution. We ordinarily should be distributing 3 years after the last campaign, and this is 4 years. And this will have an impact on the health of the good people of the state. And that's why the National Malaria Elimination Program does not take it for granted that this partnership fostered between us and the Malaria Consortium has led to this event today, securing of the necessary resources that will enable the procurement of the nets, and now this is happening. It might also interest you to note that in this year, about 19 million nets have been planned for distribution across 6 states in the country. And you might be wondering, why are we talking about 6 states? Right from the beginning of net distribution, we've adopted a rolling pattern where not all states get nets the same year. And now is the turn for these other 6 states that are having the nets in this prevailing year. One good thing that has also happened in the course of this is we are leveraging more on evidence to take decision. And because of that, we have the M&E component, the monitoring and evaluation component that's been built into this activity to enable us monitor the progress and the impact of this intervention. And so going back to the good people of the state, I will want to join us. We are using a new technology now. It's not the kind of net you got in 2017 that you are getting this year, because of a lot of dynamics that we have witnessed with the mosquito that transmits the vector, transmits the parasite, the issue of resistance. So because of that, we've been able to access newer technologies that will enable us better kill the mosquitoes or repel them from the victims. And we want to employ the people of the state. Please, these nets are not for decoration, just like has been mentioned severally. It's not too much to repeat it. Please, when the nets get to your houses, do well to pay attention to the instructions that will be given to you. One of such instructions is that you should air the net in a shade for 24 hours. And after that, hang the net over your sleeping space. And not just to hang it, but sleep inside the net every night. With that, you go a long way in reducing the prevalence of malaria in our community.
The mosquito, F1, not the cause of malaria, deadly fever. We going now, we gon' fight, we gon' fight it, we can fight it.
The official presentation of the insecticide-treated nets to the state governor set the stage for the flag-off in all the 18 local government areas.
On behalf of the Chief Executive of Malaria Consortium, Mr. Charles Nelson, and also the West and Central Africa Program Director, Dr. Kolawole Maxwell, I hereby present to you Ondo State Governor the insecticide-treated net for 2021 campaign for Ondo State. Thank you very much, sir.
The mobilization and distribution team demonstration pictures the distribution of the insecticide-treated nets in all the 18 local government areas.
So by household, we mean people that are permanently resident in a particular household and they are eating together from the same household. So if a man has a wife and they have 2 children or 3 children, that means there are 5. So that household, the device will prompt us to give that household 3 nets. So if there are 6 in a household, the device will prompt them to give them 3 nets. If there are 7 in a household, the device will prompt us to give them 4 nets. If there are 8 in a household, the device will prompt us to give them 4 nets. If they are above 8, 9, 10, and it's just one wife, one man, and their children, is still 4 nets. But if the wife or the man has 2 wives and they have plenty children, we may consider registering the household as double household. That's the man and the wife, then the other wife and the children. So this is what we do. So what I'm going to do to this woman now is to register this mother, because she and her husband and their children, they have 5. So the device is prompting us to give them 3 nets. So we are going to give this family 3 nets.
The mosquito, F1, now the cause of malaria, deadly fever. We going now, we gonna fight. We gonna fight it. We can fight it. We gotta fight. We gotta fight malaria. We gotta fight. We shall win. We shall win. Victory is ours. Oh, malaria.
The governor officially presents the insecticide-treated net to the first set of beneficiaries.
I appreciate the Ondo State Governor for this particular program, because honestly before now we have been really facing the issue of mosquitoes. Even no matter how we try to keep our environment clean, drainage from other houses also used to breed this mosquito. But I believe that with this protective nets, which has already been treated, it will not only be killed, but it will be eradicated. And I would also like to ensure people who are here to get theirs, because soon you will get yours, that you should try and make use of it. As it is being explained that you are to spread it 24 hours in a cool place before making use of it. It only kills the mosquito, it does not affect we humans. So we should try and make use of it so as to join the Ondo State government to eradicate the spread of the virus malaria, which is being caused by mosquitoes.
My own appeal is that for this program to be successful, we must have an aggressive sensitization, in the sense that most people are using this thing for what they are not supposed to use it for. Some use it for farming, some use it for window blinds. They don't normally use it for what's supposed to be made for. Maybe they are afraid or something. So there's need for us to sensitize the general public about the use of this mosquito net insecticide, so that we have the desired effect. So NOAA on his own part is going to sensitize communities, because we have officers in all the 18 local governments of the state. We are going to visit all the nooks and crannies of the society to tell them of the importance and benefits and use.
Ondo State, let the sun shine. Our safety, number 1 priority. Our health is our wealth. Ìlera wa ló ṣe kókó. Malaria, jìnnà rere, ká lè jìnnà rere o. Consultant partners ló ní ká lè.